Hey, what's up? This is Fatality Gaming. I'm Buddy.
And I'm Steve, and this is going to be the first episode in a series called A Second Look.
For our first episode, we're going to be looking at the Super Smash Bros. Series as a whole. We're going to start with the Nintendo 64 version, the original Super Smash Bros. Then we'll move on to the GameCube version, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and we're going to end with the latest installment in the series, Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Nintendo Wii.
It is very ambitious for us to look at this game because a lot of people really love this game. A lot of people defend this game a lot.
A lot of people
fond memories of it.
Because I know a lot of people when they think Nintendo 64, they think
Super Smash.
They think this game. I know I hold this game close to my heart, and I'm sure many of you do as well. And so we're basically going to throw this into three spots. For the first part, we're going to talk about our general experiences with the game when we played it. We're going to go over the history of the game, stuff like that.
Second part's actually going to be like a versus mode, me against him, battle it out for dominance.
Battle for dominance.
Battle for dominance. See who's the better player.
I'm actually excited because I haven't played this in a while, so
we'll see.
We're going to see who's better.
Yeah.
Well, that might not say much. Then for the third and final part, we're just going to give it a rating. We're going to talk about how well it aged or how not so well it aged. Yeah. However the case is. Yeah. So with that, let's take a look at Super Smash Bros.
Super Smash Bros. Was released in North America in 1999. It was developed by HAL Laboratory, which is a Nintendo second-party developer.
The game features 12 of Nintendo's most famous icons. You've got the Maniac Monkey Donkey Kong, the hottie with a concealed body Samus Aran, the bottomless pit Kirby, Yoshi the laughing stock of the Dinosaur Kingdom, Link the metrosexual, the feared fighter pilot Fox McCloud, the incredibly cocky Captain Falcon, Ness the psychic wonder child, two Pokemon favorites Pikachu and Jigglypuff, and of course, Mario and Luigi.
Originally, this game wasn't going to include the slew of Nintendo characters it does now, because fighting games weren't really selling very well at the time. But the games ended up doing very well, selling around 5 million copies worldwide.
The one-player game has you take on progressively more challenging enemies as you advance towards a final boss in a typical arcade style. This style is seen in many fighting games and shows that HAL was leery of straying too far away from the norm.
The one-player campaign also has a series of mini-games spread throughout them. These games are Break the Targets, Board the Platforms, and Race to the Finish. Honestly, I hate these and find these extremely annoying. Like, why even add these to the game? They just slow down till they give you his points. Like, who really gives a shit?
The final payoff of the one-player campaign is getting to square off against Master Hand. This entity brought all the characters in the game to life and pitted them against each other. He isn't fought like any other character. With him, you must bring down his health to 0 in order to defeat him. He's a nice change of pace as far as gameplay goes, but he isn't too difficult of a final boss.
Once you defeat Master Hand, you will return to your doll state. I guess that's a good thing. Who even was Master Hand to start with? Did he own all these Nintendo dolls? Questions that will never be answered.
One of the staples of Super Smash Bros. Is the use of items. Things like the Pokeball, which calls out a Pokemon to assist you, the Home Run Bat, which has a supercharged swing that can knock out an opponent, and the Hammer, which does colossal damage and sends your character into a swinging frenzy. All these items add a spice to the game that can change the momentum of a match.
One of the main reasons people played this game was for the Versus mode, which had up to 4 players fight against each other in a struggle for who can come out on top.
There are 2 types of matches you can do in Versus mode, Stock mode and Time mode.
In Stock mode, each character is given a set amount of lives, and when you run out of lives, it's game over. This is the preferred way to play in my opinion. In Time mode, a set amount of time is put on the clock, and you fight until the timer runs out.
You can also add another layer of gameplay by making these team matches. You can choose who is on each team based on the color assigned to them. There is Red Team, Blue Team, and Green Team.
Overall, Super Smash Bros. Was a very successful game for its time, and even a classic today. Many people even consider this game the best game to be released for the Nintendo 64. Okay, so we've looked at the history of the game, sort of explained the game, the different modes, everything else, shown how the game is played, so now it's time for us to actually go through and play the game, like experience it all over again. So, before we do that, do you have any memories of this game from when you were younger?
Well, I remember the first time I played this game, it wasn't only my introduction to Super Smash Bros., it was also my introduction to Nintendo in general. Because I had a Sega Saturn at the time, and I was over at my friend Ben's house, and he had this game. And so later I was like, Dad, I need an N64. Dad, please, I need an N64.
Dad,
you know, typical 90s kid stuff.
You don't understand, Dad.
He did! My dad's a big sports guy, and I was on this Little League team. and he was like, well, if you hit a home run next game, I'll get you an N64.
That's very gruff.
And so I practiced, you know, and eventually I hit that home run, and he got me an N64, and I quit baseball.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a pretty good reason to quit, I guess. But was that like where you split?
I was about to say that's basically the crossroads of my life.
The jock path and the nerd
jock path and the geek path.
You chose
the geek life chose me. I did not choose you.
You were chosen by the geek life.
Yes.
The N64 called out to you.
The geek life versus the Greek life. I would have been a frat boy right now. I would have been. I would have never met you, Steve.
No.
Do you have any memories?
Nothing really in particular. When I lived in Canal Fulton when I was younger, my friend had one of these, and I didn't because I got it later. And he had this, and every day after school, I would always go over there, and we would play it for like hours and hours at a time, just marathon versus mode over and over. But yeah, nothing in particular about it. But
good times.
Yeah, good times were had by all, aka me and him.
Well, let's see if good times are still to be had with this. So let's actually play this.